Today, though, we're going to start with a sport a lot of people may or may not be too familiar about. And for that, we're going to bring our first In the House segment, starting off with some equestrian. And for those of you who don't know what that is, that's just, it's a fancy term for riding on a horse. It's the best way I can describe that. Let's bring our guest in right now, a lady that is very familiar with the sport. There she is. Brightening up our set. Catherine, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Marcel. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Hello, Catherine.
So, Tommy, you had a chance to talk with Catherine earlier this week, and some good things happening in equestrian.
Yeah, I didn't even know that we had equestrian for high schoolers. I think this is the first year. Catherine, you want to tell us more about that?
Certainly. I just want to start off by congratulating Mr. Knowles. I think that was a great way to begin the segment. And I want to point out that the 2021 All Bahamas Merit Scholarship winner, Miss Maya Tilburg, was an equestrian.
Wow.
And was a part of our first inter-school championship team. So I just want to give shouts out for that. We have an inter-school league. It has been functioning for 3 years, but that was derailed by COVID, obviously, for the better part of 2 years of it. And we're very proud that this year, for the first time, our partnership with the U.S.-based Interscholastic Equestrian Association is going to be realized. We are the first international member of that association. The IEA, as they are known, exists in 46 states in the U.S. There are over 14,000 members. And we have welcomed as Region 13 of Zone 4, which covers Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee. And so we have been running a series of shows over the course of the year. This is a part of our Sport for All initiative, which mirrors collegiate format. For those who don't know, most equestrian sports are done on an individual basis. And it is a two-athlete sport, the rider and the horse. And the partnership between rider and horse is a huge part of achievement of the sport at those highest levels. But in the collegiate format, they use something called a horse draw format, which basically means that at those competitions, riders walk into the arena and pick a horse that they've never ridden before, and they have to compete with that horse. So we've modeled our inter-school show format on this to prepare our students for intercollegiate competition. We have a number of Bahamians who are now away competing in college successfully. And having come to the end of our interscholastic league year, yes, there we are at the end. And all these young people that you see in this picture, they have qualified for our region finals, which will be held next weekend on February the 27th, 26th. I may have that wrong. 26th or 27th. At Mariposa Stables. And it's really like a playoffs. And the winners from that competition will be going to Tryon, North Carolina to compete against winners of all other Zone 4 teams. Yes, and this was us 2 years ago in Georgia. And the young lady sort of second from the left is the All Bahamas Merit Scholar that I was talking about, holding the blue ribbon, Maya Tilburg. And so we'll have somewhere between 8 and 15 young people going abroad to compete. And hopefully if they do well there, then they will go on to IEA National Finals and represent us there. Really, sorry, Marcel, I can't hear you.
I said, so this is actually a big deal for you guys to get into this league, first of all, and then now have our kids the opportunity to compete.
Huge deal. As I said, we're the first international partners of the IEA. Second, it builds into our Sport for All initiative in that Equestrian Bahamas as a federation has been footing the cost of paying the trainers and paying for the horses. So the young people doing these inter-school shows have not had to incur the costs that go along with the regular rated horse shows. So it makes it more accessible. So there are a number of young people who have been competing in these shows that don't compete in our regular shows. And it gives them the opportunity to go away and test their skills and be noticed by college coaches and beyond.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had some success. I've seen with a number of equestrian events where we've had Bahamians go abroad and represent very well.
Absolutely. And you're looking at one right now.
Is that the great Millie?
This is Ms. Vasilov. Am I right? Did I pronounce that right?
That's correct. Millie Vlasov. Currently training. She's in Spain. This video was taken in France.
Wow.
A few months ago, and she has just recently fulfilled the first of her minimum qualification requirements for the CAC Games.
Oh.
So she is aiming to represent us in El Salvador next year.
Sounds great. I love the sound of that. I like when Bahamians, particularly young Bahamians, get opportunities to show their talents and certainly even better when they represent the country in that case, in that capacity. And I think this will really open some doors. I think a lot of people, young kids watching this, are going to be like, you know what, I can do this. And it's certainly, like you said, with your initiative going on, where these kids can now take part riding the horses, I think it's really going to spark an interest in equestrian and horse riding in general.
I hope so. I think that's what we've been aiming for, and I feel like just being on this show, we've arrived. Because a huge part of it has been, this is not an activity; it is a sport. Yes. And here we are on the locker room. So clearly, we are being recognized as such.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Thank this guy right here, Tommy Stubbs.
Hey, Kathy, I always wanted to know who's the star in the competition. Is it the horse or the rider?
That depends on the competition. There are different disciplines, some of which focus on the horse, some of which focus on the rider. But no matter what, it is a true athlete sport. The closest I could compare it to would be maybe pairs figure skating. There cannot be one without the other.
Yes, I like that analogy.
As athletic and talented a horse as you have, a rider making the wrong decision will result in a poor outcome. And as athletic and talented a rider as you have, without the right horse, can't achieve their full potential.
Yeah. How do you go about transporting a horse? That must be also very expensive.
that is in the nub. You have named one of our main challenges, which is why pursuing competitions that follow that collegiate format,
right,
as we've mentioned, that in the horse world is known as a borrowed horse format, where you don't have to bring a horse to the competition.
Yeah, use what's
Those
available.
are the ones that we're really focusing on for our young people.
Yeah.
You showed a photo of a horse with a Bahamian flag draped over his back a little while ago. That was a Bahamian rider who represented us. Yes, there, Beautiful Nightmare. This is a Bahamian rider who trains in Georgia. She rides in a discipline known as endurance, which is basically marathon running for horses.
Wow.
So when you saw her in this picture, she and her horse had just finished a 120-kilometer race.
Wow, that's a long time. That's a long race. Yeah.
And this was a junior world championship at which we were represented, that she qualified for. And it cost just a little under $20,000.
Wow, that's a lot
to
of
get
money.
the horse
Yeah.
from Georgia to the Netherlands and back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it is a considerable expense.
Yeah. Wow, Catherine, man, I appreciate you coming on the show. This has been amazing, and we got a lot of information. I hope our viewers have enjoyed this as much as I have. That's for sure. And certainly, so if somebody wants to get involved in this, how do they go about doing it?
And also watching.
Okay, definitely. We have two excellent riding programs that begin at the very foundational level, taking children from as young as 4 and 5 and up. One is in the Eastern District, Camperdown Equestrian Center.
Mm-hmm.
The other is in the West, Mariposa Stables. Links to both of them can be found on our website at www.equestrianbahamas.org. And I would recommend anyone interested in having, in adults or children, beginning lessons, reach out to the very qualified trainers at those locations and reach out to them and get started.
Sounds great.
It is a sport for all.
I like it. I like it. I like it. I may even try it myself. Thank you
No,
so
no,
much,
he can't
Catherine.
try. Catherine, keep in mind, Marcellus is 6'7". If Marcellus gets on a horse, his legs will be touching the ground.
Which is
okay?
not a bad thing, because if anything goes wrong, I'm going to just step off. But
We'll need a tall horse.
Right,
It's
there we
not
go.
undoable, but we'll need a tall horse.
thank you so much, Catherine, for joining us on the show. We look forward to having you come back at some point and tell us some more about what's going on with your organization and some of the competitions going around. We appreciate you a great deal.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Support the young people next weekend
Yes,
at our regional
I
final.
like it. I like it. I'll have to try and come on out there and check it out for myself.
I'll be
Appreciate
there.
you
Thank you.
once again. All right, so Tommy, thanks again, Catherine.